If you have a half moon on your palm, don't skip this video, because what you're looking at may be far more significant than you think. Here are 14 spiritual meanings hidden behind this mysterious mark, and some of them are connected to your intuition, destiny, your relationships, and even the way you experience spiritual changes. But listen carefully. Meanings can change depending on exactly where your half moon appears, how clearly it is formed, and what other signs surround it. Type yes in the comments below if you have the half moon on your palm, and I want you to pay very close attention to mystery number 14, because it may reveal something about your half moon that you've never considered before. So before you decide what your half moon means, watch until the very end. The half moon and intuition. The half moon is often associated in spiritual and palmistry traditions with themes such as intuition, imagination, sensitivity, and inner perception. But let's define intuition carefully. Intuition doesn't necessarily mean you can predict the future. It can simply describe the feeling of recognizing something before you can fully explain why. That strange feeling of something doesn't feel right, or I can't explain it, but I feel like I should go this direction. Palmistry have sometimes connected unusual markings with these kinds of inner experiences. But whether that connection is meaningful for you is something you should explore through your own life rather than blindly accepting a prediction. And now we come to something even more fascinating, because intuition isn't always experienced while you're awake. Sometimes it appears when you're asleep. The half moon and dreams. Dreams, one of humanity's oldest mysteries. Across cultures, people have attached spiritual meanings to dreams for thousands of years. And because the half moon visually resembles the moon itself, it's easy to understand why spiritual traditions might associate crescent-like symbolism with themes of night, imagination, dreams, and the inner world. But here's the question. Does having a half moon mean your dreams contain hidden messages? Dreams are complex psychological experiences, but symbolically, the half moon has been interpreted as representing a person's relationship with the inner world. So instead of asking, will I have prophetic dreams? Ask, how deeply do I pay attention to my inner experiences? That question is far more interesting. The half moon and emotional sensitivity. Sometimes spiritual interpretations connect crescent-like markings with emotional sensitivity. But sensitivity doesn't mean weakness. It can mean that someone notices subtle emotional changes, the tone of someone's voice, a change in atmosphere, a person's body language, a feeling in a room. Symbolically, the half moon can represent the idea of perception beyond the obvious. And now, we're approaching the midpoint. So far, we've examined the half moon itself. But from this point onward, we're going to start combining it with other clues, and that's where this gets much more interesting. The half moon and the mystic cross. Now imagine your half moon appears alongside a formation identified as a mystic cross. This is where many palmistry interpretations become considerably more symbolic. The mystic cross has been associated with themes such as intuition, mystery, spirituality, and interest in the unseen. But here's the important part. Don't automatically assume that two symbols create some supernatural guarantee. Instead, think of it as symbolic amplification. The half moon represents one theme. The mystic cross represents another. Together, palmistry may interpret their combination as a stronger emphasis on spiritual curiosity and inner perception. But there's still another combination. And this one, you've probably seen people talking about already. The half moon and the M sign. The famous M. Some people search for it. Some people photograph their palms looking for it. And some people believe it represents extraordinary destiny. But the M is another example where internet explanations can become exaggerated. The letter-like appearance can be created by the interaction of major palm lines. Palmistry gives various interpretations to those lines. So rather than saying M means you're destined to become rich, we need to go deeper. What happens when someone has a half moon-like formation and an M-like formation? Now you've got multiple symbols interacting, and this is where the palm becomes more interesting than a single viral claim. The half moon is not the whole story. Here's one of the most important ideas in this entire video. Never build your entire interpretation around one marking. Your palm contains many lines. Your hand contains many regions. And your individual experiences cannot be reduced to a single symbol. So if you have the half moon, don't ask, what does this one marking say about my destiny? Ask, what patterns can I observe across the entire palm? That shift alone takes you from shallow curiosity to deeper observation. And now, we move into the rarest part. Multiple unusual markings. Imagine seeing a half moon, a mystic cross, an unusual triangle, and several other distinctive formations. Suddenly, the palm looks completely different. But here's where many creators make a mistake. They pile meaning upon meaning until the palm sounds like a supernatural instruction manual. That's not what we're going to do. Instead, treat each marking as a symbolic clue. Then ask, do the themes overlap? If several traditional interpretations point toward intuition, reflection, imagination, or spirituality, perhaps the interesting story isn't that you have a magical palm. Perhaps the interesting story is that these symbols have historically been used to express human curiosity about the unseen parts of life. And now, we go deeper. When the half moon appears differently on each hand, this is another detail people often overlook. Look at both hands. Are they identical? Probably not. Your hands naturally have differences, and traditional palmistry systems can assign different interpretive roles to the hands. So don't just examine one hand and immediately declare, this is my destiny. Compare, observe, notice similarities, notice differences, and ask yourself, why does one hand appear different from the other? That question is more valuable than a sensational prediction. The half moon and personal transformation. Now we move into one of the deepest spiritual interpretations, transformation. The moon itself has always been a powerful symbol of cycles. It appears, it grows, it becomes full, it disappears, and then begins again. So symbolically, a half moon can easily become associated with transition, growth, uncertainty, and becoming, not because the palm scientifically proves that you're undergoing transformation, but because humans naturally use symbols to describe experiences that are difficult to put into words. And perhaps that's one reason palmistry has remained fascinating for so long. It turns the hand into a symbolic language. The half moon may feel personal. Here's something interesting. Two people can look at the same symbol and experience completely different emotions. One person may see the half moon and feel excited. Another may feel afraid. Another may feel nothing. Why? Because symbols don't exist in isolation. We give symbols meaning through our experiences. So the deepest question isn't, what does my half moon mean? It's, what does this symbol make me reflect upon in my own life? And now, we're approaching the final four mysteries. These are the ones I want you to think about carefully. The biggest misunderstanding. The biggest misunderstanding about the half moon is believing that one marking can give you a complete description of your life. It can't. No single crease on your palm can scientifically tell you who you'll marry, how much money you'll make, when you'll die, or exactly what will happen tomorrow. So I study it, because palmistry can be approached as a symbolic tradition, a way of observing patterns, a way of reflecting, a way of exploring historical spiritual beliefs. And that distinction is extremely important, because mystery becomes much more powerful when you don't need to turn it into a false certainty. Now you're looking at your palm and thinking, I don't have a half moon. Don't worry, this isn't a test. You haven't failed to unlock anything. Not having a particular formation doesn't mean you're less intuitive, less spiritual, or less important. Palm markings naturally vary, and this is another reason not to turn symbolic palmistry into a rigid system where people are divided into chosen and not chosen. Your palm is unique because your hand is unique, and that's enough. But there is still one more mystery. And this one changes how I want you to look at the entire subject. The real mystery may not be the half moon. Think about everything we've discussed. The shape, the clarity, the location, the surrounding lines, the mystic cross, the M-like formation, the differences between hands, the symbolism of dreams, intuition, transformation. And now, ask yourself, what if we've been asking the wrong question? Instead of, what does the half moon predict? What if we ask, why have humans always looked at patterns in nature, and even in their own hands, and searched for meaning? The moon, the stars, dreams, symbols, hands. People have always looked for connections between the visible world and the invisible questions inside themselves. The deepest mystery of the half moon. may not be what it predicts. It may be what it represents. A crescent is neither completely dark nor completely illuminated. It exists between two states, and perhaps that's why it has such powerful symbolic potential. It can represent becoming, transition, uncertainty, intuition, reflection, the part of life we understand and the part we don't. So, if you have a half moon on your palm, don't look at it and immediately conclude, this means I'm special. Instead, look at it and ask, what does this symbol make me curious about? Look at the rest of your palm. Look at your life. Look at your experiences. Look at the things you've learned. Look at the things you still don't understand. Because perhaps the greatest mystery isn't hidden inside the lines of your hand. The mystery is why we are so fascinated by the possibility that something about us can be written there. So the next time you see that little crescent on your hand, don't just ask, what does it mean? Ask, what else is around it? Because sometimes, the most interesting mystery isn't the mark itself, it's the patterns surrounding it. Share these mysteries to someone, and always stay connected to Spiritual Empire for more deeper mysteries.